So I get baptized, and literally, that's on Sunday, literally on Wednesday, an agent called, the biggest agent in all of radio, calls me out of the blue and says, I hear you're looking for an agent. I'm like, gotta be kidding, thank you, yes. He says to me, I hear you really have changed your life, blah, blah, blah. I said, yes, I'm really trying. He said, do you know so-and-so? And I said, no. Now, this guy was a huge radio guy who controlled almost all of talk radio. He said, we have to find a way for you to get a tape to him on his desk. And I said, okay, well, how do we, just then my call waiting went off. I click over, and it's that guy. And I mean, it was like, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm like, can you hold on? Click back over to my agent. I said, you know that guy you're talking about? He's on the other line. And my agent said, well, then what are you doing on my line? Talk to him. So it was an amazing, miraculous kind of thing. And I had promised I will do what you tell me to do, no matter the cost, no matter what I might lose. 2 years go by. I'm looking for, I'm going into a client to do these live commercials for a car company. And at this time, it's huge money for the radio station. The radio station's thinking about firing me. I mean, it's not a good situation. I have to have this client. If I can get this client, I can last a little longer. If I don't, my job is over, and I probably won't get another chance in talk radio, okay? It's that bleak. I go in, and it's a Dodge dealer. And the guy sits there, and we have a great conversation, and it's a family-owned situation, and this older guy comes in, and we think we have a deal, and so everybody's feeling good. The older guy comes in, and he said, his son said, Dad, I want you to meet Glenn. I think he's going to be our spokesperson. He said, oh, good. Listen, I need your help. He said, we bought too many of, and I don't remember what the car was, we bought too many of this car. And he said, they are crap boxes on wheels. He said, nobody wants them. They're not a good car, but they're under warranty. We need to get them off our lot. So the first thing I need you to do is I need you to talk these cars up and sell these cars. And I'm looking at him going, my job is over. I can't, what do I do? My job is at stake. I'm about to lose absolutely everything. All I have to do is sell these 20 cars and then everything will be okay. I looked at him and I said, you don't believe in these cars? He said, no, they're bad. I said, I can't do that. And the salesperson looks at me like, it's one of those, no. And they look at me and they said, but I'm sure, Glenn, this is, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. This guy said, you sound like one of them Christians. Now I'm like, oh, dear God. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And he said, so you won't do that. This deal means a lot. It's multi-year. Reaches out. Then you, sir, are exactly the man we're looking for. Trust in him. Trust that if you do the right thing, and it may not work out that fast, but the church, everybody's worried about the church coming under persecution. Do you know what the Christians are praying for in China, for America? For us to fall and be humbled. Now, I talked to a Christian pastor who helps he's Chinese. He is, if he goes to China, dead. He helps people come out of China. He escaped from China. His story is amazing. He said to me, they're praying that you fall and are humbled. And I'm like, well, that's not happy. And he said, you'll remember who you actually serve. The church prospers with persecution. It does horribly when it's not persecuted. I'm not hoping for persecution, but I'm also not fearing it. The Lord needs us to be humbled. We've messed up badly, accept the consequence that we actually deserve. You're not going to miss the consequence. It's going to come one way or another. And you're going to pay for the sins of the past. Accept the consequence. Know that even in persecution, you will grow. And without persecution, without hardships, you won't. You won't. That's what sharpens us. That's where your faith comes in. The people who are in prison for standing up for the Lord, they knew they didn't have to do that. They could have shut their mouth. It sharpens them. Nelson Mandela went into prison a very bad guy. He comes out and he changes the world. And what most people don't know about Nelson Mandela is, do you know how he saved South Africa? The same way you will save America. He came to the most powerful person who hated Nelson Mandela and was threatening war. We're going to kill all of the blacks. Nelson Mandela could have started a war and said, rise up and get them. He went to his mortal enemy and did this. Please, I beg of you, please, let's not have war, please. That is a leader that will get down on their knees and humble themselves when they have all the power to light it on fire and say, peace, peace. Let's find the things we can come together on and trust the Lord to do the rest. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
I loved hearing what you had to say. My friend's mom was talking to me today, and she's like, I want you to ask him, what does he think about the Supreme Court? And we did touch on that. And just being such a pro-lifer, it's so hard for me to, not vote for a candidate who is pro-life, but I just don't know if he is.
He's not.
And that's why I'm worried.
So here's what I think on the Supreme Court. The only people that he listens to are his children. His children are wildly liberal. Wildly liberal.
So that's why Ivanka and Chelsea are best friends. And
They are not pro-life. When your dad, who I don't think he cares about a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? I think he's like, whatever, on some things.
He's more about power than...
Yeah, and so I don't think he cares about a lot of stuff. And a lot of people think that's an advantage. I don't, but some people do. And especially the people on the Supreme Court fight think it's good because he doesn't care about a lot of it, okay? And so they think he'll just go along with it. My argument is the people he does care about and the people he listens to are especially his daughters. His daughters, friends with the Clintons and the children, that's their realm. You don't think they're going to come in and say, Dad, you cannot be the president that reversed Roe versus Wade. You cannot.
want him to be.
That's not who he is. And he's not. And he might say he'll do it, but I believe, first of all, you put Ted Cruz or Mike Lee up there, is he going to spend the political capital that it will take to push those guys through for things he doesn't really care about? I don't think so. Second, if he does, do you not think his daughters are going to come in and go, Dad, we don't want the Trump name to be that?
Yeah.
I don't think so. But I could be wrong.
Well, the last thing I mentioned, I know you have limited time, was that I emailed you today, but I was just talking to her, and she's like, you don't see those emails to me at Monday. But it was these 14 points that 3 black students brought up to TCU today and said we want these 14 demands taken care of. And one is that the flag is put at half-staff every time a black person dies from a white cop. The other is that we ban hate speech and microaggressions. And another prominent one is that we have mandatory cultural sensitivity training. And I am so worried about these. So I'm sure you know about YAF, Young Americans for Freedom, and the headquarters in DC. I called them, and I'm going to write an op-ed on it. And I'm nervous about it because, just the thoughts that the rest of campus has on me, and we're becoming so liberal. But I think we need the other view out there.
Don't ever do anything because you're afraid. Don't ever stop doing something because you're afraid. You Christian? you stand with Christ. He's your sword and your shield no matter what happens to you. The persecution that you'll get here on earth will be nothing to the reward that you get later in life or the regret you will have later in life. Don't ever stay silent. It's tough. Read my Facebook comments.
Yeah.
It's tough, but it's so worth it. And the more alone you are, just always remain humble enough to check with the Lord. Am I doing good? Am I quiet? Am I humble? Am I reasoned? Am I kind? Am I charitable? Is what I'm saying those things? Does it make man more free or less free within your framework, Lord? More free or less free? If the answer is more free and that you're kind and you're following his principles, never sit down.
I can do that, I think. Thank you.
You bet.